Good morning, everyone. This is Emily Kestrel. I am here today with my little buddy Dredd, and we are just going to have a quick stroll through Woodlawn Cemetery in Clinton, Illinois. Recently, I have gotten very interested in exploring old cemeteries. This one is not new to me because it is a place where I like to walk my dogs. However, Dredd and I are going to take a look at it today with some new eyes, explore a bit and see what we can find and how it compares to some of the other old cemeteries I've been enjoying recently. So Dredd and I are just going to take a look at these older gravestones up here. I call Dredd my little vampire hunting dog since he's my companion while I explore these cemeteries. Keeps me safe from whatever lurks in the crypts. Again, this must have been a child's grave. It's got the lamb on top. Looks like it's pretty much faded. What do you say, Dredd? You ready to explore? It is really such a beautiful morning. I'm filming this the first weekend in April. Yesterday was April 1st, and the weather really did do an April Fool's on us. After hinting at spring all week, it came in cold, windy, sleet, just nasty weather. Today we're back on track towards spring. See if we can find any of those old carvings on the tombstones, Dredd, like the willows or the shaking hands. We'll get a better view of that on our way out. But it's interesting, they've just got that one mausoleum down at the bottom of the hill away from all the others. Oh, I found a shaking hands. I first noticed that symbol a couple of weekends ago when we went down to Ridge Cemetery in Shelby County. There it is. I did look it up. It was a very common symbol to put on gravestones in the 1800s. I think it could represent either saying goodbye to your loved one or the loved one being greeted in the afterlife. There's the Civil War area. I think I read online that there's about 80 soldiers who were buried here in this little plot. I don't think all of them have a headstone, but as you can see, many of them do. I always wonder what their lives were like. It's this little window into history. Here's the statue. I think it's got all their names on it. And here, this statue, I always assumed was part of the Civil War memorial. But then I got close one day and realized instead it says, "In memory of the heroic Marines who perished by the destruction of the battleship Maine in Havana Harbor, February 15th, 1898. Which I did not know anyone from this area was on the Maine. If anyone likes old cemeteries, this one is not off the beaten path. It's not hard to find. Just right smack dab in the middle of town. It seems to be very popular with dog walkers, which I can understand. It's one of the nicer places around here to walk dogs. Unfortunately, although I have scoured the internet trying to find ghosts and hauntings related with this cemetery, so far I have come up with nothing. It appears that there is no legend of this one being haunted in any way. anyone's been here and ever had a creepy experience, please leave a comment. I would be happy to know about it. Because right now, it looks like this is just interesting on a historical level. Nothing going on paranormal wise. Well, this one is really, really faded, but you can barely see. It's got that symbol that I first noticed in Elkhart Cemetery about a month back, of a finger pointing at a book. I did look that up, the symbolism of it, and not surprisingly, the book represents the Bible. Dredd, we found a willow! We have found a willow. On this old one. And I did look up the willows as well, and in addition to the very obvious symbolism of the weeping willow, that you're weeping, apparently willows grow back very, very quickly, and so it can also be seen as a symbol of renewal, regeneration, rebirth. And apparently in the 1800s, Greek symbols and things from the classical world were very popular in the Americas, and I think that the willow, I read, ties into that. Orpheus was flinging willow branches behind him as he rose up from the underworld, and that is something, those old myths and stories, that people in the 1800s would have been familiar with. Oh, here we go. Speaking of the Maine, Arthur D. Bogardus, Company I, Illinois Infantry, Spanish-American War. Some more older stones. I have to get down to see this one. Oh, I wonder if this is World War I. John Clark, Colorado. Chemical Warfare Service, September something 1928. Now that would have been after World War I. It's got a little sticker on it that says U.S. Veterans. Here's another one. Harry S. Clark, Illinois. Come on, Dredd. You can see Dredd has gotten over his bad experience of being startled by the other dog. He's having a good roll on the ground. He needs a bath anyway. He always needs a bath. Come on, Dredd, that's enough of that. Here's an orb. I've just recently learned that these orbs were popular on cemetery monuments. I'm not sure what exactly they represent, or if they're just there to be cool. Looks like this is the tailor's orb. Pretty cool. Well, as we leave the cemetery, I'll say goodbye to the Civil War soldier up there on the hill. Looks like there's many more old graves we could explore if we had the time. Dredd finds it so hard to say goodbye sometimes. He's got to get that final sniff. And then another final sniff. And then yet another final sniff. Alright, before I go, I'm going to take a look at this mausoleum that's just down here outside the cemetery at the bottom of the hill. Because you can see the rest of the cemeteries up there on top of the hill. And then this one single mausoleum down here on the bottom. More. 1894. And there's their mausoleum. see if I can get around it. Take a look at the back view. Okay, this might be a bit more work than a middle-aged lady and her middle-aged dog should get up to. But here's the back view. Wow. Can't help but think it's a little strange. Me and my horror novel brain has to make up a story why this mausoleum is all by itself. I mean, I'm not saying it's vampires, but wouldn't surprise me. Well, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. I thank everybody for joining me and my little buddy Dredd on yet another adventure. I hope you'll come back next week, because hopefully I won't have as many chores and I can have a bit more of a day trip. See something interesting.